Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right, and we just had on Mike Greenwald, the CEO of Rosendin, a $2 billion company. And later on, we're going to have the celebrity lipstick reader, Anita Miranda, who could be reached at officiallipstickreader.com. And by the way, thank you for the feedback we continue to have from when I interviewed the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line. So make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. All right, there's a sport out there that pretty much uses every part of your body when you're doing the sport and when you're competing. And our next hero knows that better probably than anyone else. Are you ready for this? He is an Olympic swimmer and the world's fastest 100-meter relay split, 8-time Olympic medalist, 4-time Olympic gold, Jason Lezak. And he can be reached at isl.global. So make sure you go to that website or, of course, Eliances.com where we'll have it posted. Jason, man, how in the world have you gotten so good at this sport, won so many medals, and the world's fastest?
That's a tricky question, but I'd have to say a lot of years of dedication and perseverance, because before I became the world's fastest, I had to work through a lot of different things to get there and had quite a few disappointments in my life, I'd say, and all that did was push me to be able to achieve that success that I had.
I mean, you must have spent your entire life in a pool.
Pretty much. I started swimming at 5 years old, and I didn't retire until 36. So 31 years of competitive swimming, I'd say it's probably longer than anybody else at the high levels.
And at what point, too, did you go, you know what, I'm pretty good at this sport. This is what I want to do?
Well, when I was really young, I had some early on success, and I had that dream, but there were some years in there where I kind of lost focus and lost sight of that dream. But it wasn't until I got into college and I really started swimming at the level where I thought this is possible, making the Olympic team.
All right, so tell me what's going through your mind, like when you're swimming, especially too, like let's talk about the world's fastest 100-meter relay split. Do you know at the point, like, before it's over that, like, you're in the lead?
Well, on that race, for example, the first lap, I was breathing to the opposite side of my competition, so I couldn't see him. But on the second lap, when I'm coming back, I'm looking at him every stroke. So it was so close. It was 8/100ths of a second difference there. I actually took my last stroke with my right arm, and he was on my right, so I rolled to the opposite side, and I couldn't see him on the finish. So I didn't really know if I won or not until I looked back at the scoreboard.
And then when you won, did you know that you were the world's fastest?
That wasn't even a concern. I mean, I was concerned about helping my team win a gold medal, which is what we did. So it wasn't until later on somebody told me I had the fastest split in history. But even when they told me that, it didn't affect me. I said, you know what? We won the gold medal, and that's all that matters.
I mean, that's amazing. In fact, too, and I know the medals it's not all about the medals, but certainly it's a huge deal and stuff. In fact, you have 34 swimming medals. Is that right? I counted them. I counted them at your house.
That sounds great. Good. I don't know. You did your research, maybe.
Oh, definitely. You know what? I mean, it's amazing. In fact, 4 gold for the Olympics, 2 silver, 2 bronze, and that's 34 medals more than me. So, I mean, truly, what you've got now. And by the way, you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. It is the only place where entrepreneurs align, and I've got the honor of interviewing Jason Lezak, the Olympic swimmer, world's fastest 100-meter relay split, won a number of medals in the Olympics, and you can reach him at isl.global. So, Jason, share with our audience what you're doing now.
So basically what you just mentioned, the ISL.global, there's a new international swim league, and I'm the general manager of one of the teams called the Cali Condors. And what's really neat about this is it's the first time that there's ever been a professional swim league, and it's more like what you'd think about NFL, NBA style, where it's actually about the team. And as much as swimming put the focus on the individuals, yes, there are still individuals in this, but we're trying to win as a team, and it's more like our college system. So people in the United States have a really good understanding about this. some of the people around the world, they're catching on. But I think it's great. The first year was a success. Our team wound up getting third place. There are 8 teams to start off this year. We were the best American team. The only 2 teams that beat us were the 2 European teams. So we're on the hunt next year. We're going to start the season in September and go through April next year, a longer season, and really trying to put together a great team. I learned a lot this year. So, being able to recruit and see what matters as far as what events score more points and where you need certain people to swim and based on the schedule and everything like that. I think a lot of people learned a lot, and a lot of people had fun, because if you look at it, it's not your typical swim competition. It was an amazing show, and I think we can get people from all worlds of life to come in and watch a show like this that's not just another swim meet, and they'll get excited about it and want to come back.
And how did you get involved as being the general manager?
Well, this league started, and, in 2018, they were trying to put on just one competition, and somebody had mentioned my name, and they asked me, and I said, you know what, this sounds amazing, because when I was swimming, this would have been the perfect competition for me. This would have been something. I love team. Obviously, you heard how many relay medals I have. So for me, it was all about the team. It was all about being able to race, being able to compete. And now these athletes are actually able to make a living out of it. They're getting an amount of money to swim, and then there's prize money as well. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I love the sport, and I just want to help grow.
Excellent. Again, we're talking with Jason Lezak, world's fastest 100-meter relay split. Jason, clearly you're in top physical condition to have been, winning so many medals and being so top of your game. Some of the questions we're getting in from our listeners is, for example, they want to know what your diet is. What do you eat?
Well, right now I eat whatever I want. When I used to compete, I was pretty good about it, actually. A lot of athletes, surprisingly, when I was swimming, would eat just anything and just put calories in their body. But for me, I was focused on eating a pretty well-balanced diet as far as getting the right amount of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And that really was able to, have sustained energy for practice and then recover after practice. And I think for me, it wasn't about the calories. It was about, what I felt like I needed. And it was a learning process of how much I needed to eat before and how much I needed to eat after practices and after competition. But more than anything, I think keeping a good balanced diet, which is, good proteins, carbohydrates, the good ones too. And everybody tries to stay away from fats when I was younger, but I think they're great to give you that well-balanced and that energy you need.
And what about mindset? They want to know what you're thinking right before you're ready to compete. Like, what is going through your mind?
Well, I don't put too much focus on my race right before, because usually I've learned in the past when you're thinking too much about things you have to do, that's when you start getting nervous and start doubting yourself. So I put the focus on the positivity of, I'm here at the biggest race of my life, and there's all these people here to watch me, and how great that is, versus, okay, I got to make sure I do this and make sure I do that. Because when you start thinking like that, that's when the nerves come in, and that's when you start doubting and probably not doing what you need to do.
All right. And, and you have a child, right? How many children do you have?
I have 3 kids.
All right, 3 kids. So our listeners also want to know, what kind of values are you instilling with them to really lead such a successful life like you've done, really following such a tight path, competing against the best of the best, and now the world's fastest?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the work ethic and, sticking with things, because a lot of times my kids, they're trying all the sports right now, and in sports sometimes they say, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, and we're not going to let them quit, we're not going to let them give up. We're going to say, hey, you're going to stick this through, you're going to work on this, and then after you do this for a couple of years, if you don't want to continue, that's fine, but you tried, you worked hard, and it wasn't your favorite thing. So I think a lot of things people do in life, they give up too early, and for me, I could have given up way too many times in my career, because I got second place on these relays, or I got 4th or 5th in these individual events, but I stuck with it, persevered, and then I was able to achieve what I set out for.
Man, do your children ever wear your medals around the house?
No, they have wore them before, but I don't usually catch them walking around the house with them. But they're getting to that age where they're a little curious more, and they're asking more questions about it. My oldest is 10 now, so definitely have a good understanding about what they are and the value of them.
Awesome. Well, Jason, you are creating a different league. You're giving young swimmers a new way to compete and grow in their expertise. That's a hero. Jason Lezak, International Swimming League. You can reach him at ISL.global. This has been David Kogan with Eliances.